For the past 1 week, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC has been engaged in conducting its primaries across different levels, from the House of Representatives to the Senate, State House of Assembly, and governorship, to determine its candidate for the 2027 general election. The exercise, as expected, has not been without rancor or controversies, with aspirants rejecting the outcome and threatening brimstones and fire. So far, the likes of Senator Isa Echacha of Kogi State, Senator Ned Nwoko of Delta State, former Governor Benga Daniel of Ogun State, former Nollywood actor Desmond Elliott, and even Rivers Governor Sim Fubara have been listed among the most conspicuous losers in this exercise. While the APC has put in place machinery such as the Primary Appeal Committee to manage the fallout, analysts have predicted a new crisis in the party, with signs are beginning to manifest, with new waves of defection to the NDC. The likelihood of more defections have been further exacerbated by the Thursday ruling of a federal court in Abuja, which gave political parties until September to conduct primaries and submit membership registers. According to the judgment, the INEC has no legal authority to set deadlines for when parties must hold internal primaries. True Vision Television spoke to a couple of observers and commentators. Philip Kachuku, a public affairs analyst, said the crisis emanating from the conduct of the primaries is expected, but that the party has the capacity to weather it, because President Tinubu is a man who knows how to reach out to bring the fold together.
That's democracy in action, where you see some certain people that are supposed to win and they are not winning the tickets. Then that tells you that something good is happening within the party. It's not a rubber stamp like everyone will assume. It was a good thing they even narrow it down to consensus and primaries. And I like what the legislature did when they were doing that electoral law amendment, and where they now said every candidate aspirant must agree to consensus before it comes to consensus. Else, you go for direct primaries. I really like that. And these direct primaries will surely, tell if you are very popular among your party members, not even the general public yet, just among your party members, and who they think they can support and they can win, and which is happening. We are seeing a lot of people losing. So it's a good development for the country and it's good for the party. And the party should be able to come off it and say, we went through a rough time because primary is always, everywhere in the whole world, always the roughest time in election period because that's where people that know you better they're able to throw you some stones, throw you some mud, a lot of things and everything will probably come out. And if you're able to survive it, you have a thing skill to now go for the general election. For APC, members should have, there's nothing, as a fan, nothing is 100%. Do you understand? Nothing 100%. But at least I can score them almost about 80% because they made sure, especially Mr. President called and said, Governor, you are the leaders of your party. Go work with your other leaders and produce candidates that can win the election for us. That will not have brouhaha at the end of it. And so that and why Mr. President did that in his own wisdom, so nobody will use his name and said, it is Mr. President that said we should make this strong. It is not me. So everybody knew that Mr. President already said, my hand is not in your state. Go and sort out yourself and give us the best candidate for each position.
For Jide Ojo, a public affairs commentator, such squabbling was expected because the expectations were high, especially given the number of aspirants compared to the available position. He also opined that the processes put in place were not entirely perfect, hence members are likely to feel shortchanged. However, like Kachuku, he believes that the president and top leadership of the party would know what to do to deal with the situation.
I'm not surprised. As a student of politics, as a political watcher, as somebody who's working in the field of election, you should expect this. When you have mass defection into a ruling party, and there are very few positions to occupy, it's going to be like this. There are only 360 House of Reps position. You have over 5,000 people who possibly bought forms. How will you, what will you, by what magic do you think you can resolve without some people feeling cheated? Punch newspaper reported yesterday that 101 aspirant bought governorship nomination from under APC. And there are only 28 seats available. You know there will be no governorship in each state. So 101 paid 50 million for only 28 seats. Tell me how people will not be shortchanged in that whole process. Those who went to join APC for the sake of ticket should have lowered their expectation. So there are bound to be push and shove in as far as the ratio of those who wants to contest far outweighs the number of available tickets. It depends on how they can close ranks. See, every party primaries generates its own disputes, its own conflict, its own disagreement. There will have been a commitment extracted, which you and I may not know now. And that's why all those who claim to be aggrieved, all of them will find one way or the other to get settled.
For his part, Barrister Fatah Abiodun, a legal expert, agrees that such disagreements are not unexpected given the high stakes. That notwithstanding, he predicts that the realignment after the primaries will lead to settlement of grievances. He also believes that the recent court ruling extending party primaries and submission of party register will no doubt lead to a new wave of defection and cross-party realignment by the losers of the APC primaries.
All those things that you have listed, they were expected because during party primary, there were rules for negotiations, and there are plenty of rooms for negotiations, adjournment, saturations, negotiations, and the likes. So what has happened in all the states is expected. The party itself, they knew this thing will happen. But after the party primary, what you see that there will be realignment and renegotiation again. The party will set up they will set up a committee across all the states to marry every aggrieved person, in quotes, so-called aggrieved person who are not able to meet up by negotiation. Some will be negotiated through appointment, some will be given out, and some, their promise will not be fulfilled even in their lifetime.
As the results of the governorship primaries trickle in ahead of the presidential primary due on Saturday, it is only a matter of time to see how the APC can manage this seismic shift in its ranks. I am Gabriel Atumeyi, reporting for True Vision Television, the platform that democratizes the media space.